This week, Anthropic is preparing to release their next commercial AI model, Claude Opus 7.0. The headlines will cover the benchmarks, the new features, the pricing tiers. But before we get there, I want to tell you about the model they built before that one, the one that will never have a release date, because the people who built it decided the public should never be allowed near it. Let me start with a number. $400 billion. That is what Anthropic is worth right now. Not Google, not Meta, Anthropic. A company that most people outside of Silicon Valley could not have named 3 years ago. And here is the part that makes that number even harder to process. Someone offered them $800 billion. They said no. So what is this company building that it can afford to turn down the kind of valuation most governments would envy as a GDP? Let me tell you, Anthropic was founded in heavy tea by Dario Amodei and his sister Daniela Amodei, along with several senior engineers who walked away from OpenAI. The reason they left was publicly stated. Everyone else is building the most powerful AI as fast as possible. We are going to build the safest one. That was the identity. That was the brand. Safety first, power second, and then they built Claude Mythos. Here is what Claude Mythos can do. It can independently identify zero-day vulnerabilities and independently decide how to exploit them. For those of you outside cybersecurity, a zero-day vulnerability is a flaw in a system that has not been publicly discovered yet. Governments pay hundreds of millions of dollars to intelligence agencies hunting for these things. Finding one is like finding a skeleton key to a building no one knows is unlocked. Claude Mythos finds them on its own, not for a specific system, not when prompted, at scale, automatically. Anthropic ran the tests, looked at the results, and then made a decision that almost no technology company has made in the last 20 years. They refused to release it, not delayed, not limited beta, not a waitlist. No, they published the safety documentation, explained exactly what the model could do, and then locked it away and told the world it was not coming out. But they did not let it sit idle. They launched something called Project Glasswing. 50+ companies received controlled access to Mythos, but for exactly one purpose: defensive cybersecurity. Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft, JP Morgan, given access to the most dangerous AI ever built for the sole purpose of finding holes in their own systems before someone else does. Think about what that means. The most dangerous AI ever built is being used to protect the most critical infrastructure in the country, and the public cannot touch it. That is the Anthropic paradox. The more carefully they try to build, the more dangerous the thing they produce becomes. And the more dangerous it becomes, the more powerful institutions line up to pay for access. Now let us talk about revenue, because this is where philosophy meets business. At the end of 7-tine, Anthropic was running at about $9 billion in annualized revenue, solid for a company of its scale. By April 25, that number crossed $30 billion. Same company, same leadership. 4 months, revenue more than tripled. What happened? Claude Code happened. Claude Code is the product that allows software engineers to stop writing code by hand and start directing an AI to handle the heavy lifting. It sounds incremental. It is not. Claude Code alone is now generating over $2.5 billion in annualized revenue. Developers who used to spend half a day on a function are finishing it in 20 minutes. Entire engineering teams are quietly asking the question nobody wants to be the first to say out loud, how many of us does this company actually still need? And this month, Anthropic pushed it further. They launched something called routines. Claude can now run unsupervised 24 hours a day, triggered by a code commit or a scheduled timer, completing entire coding tasks while you are asleep. Your AI is working the night shift. It does not ask for equity. Now let us get to the part of this story that goes beyond Silicon Valley. Claude is not available in mainland China. That has been true for a while. IP-level blocks at the infrastructure layer. VPN users face account termination. But in September 20, Anthropic went further. They implemented a policy banning access for any entity where more than 50% of ownership traces back to Chinese interests. That applies regardless of where the company is incorporated. Startup registered in Delaware, but backed by a majority Chinese-owned fund. You are out. And then this month, April 30, they rolled out identity verification. To access Claude, You now submit a government-issued photo ID and a live selfie through a third-party service called Persona. Chinese national ID cards are not on the accepted documents list. 3 layers of exclusion stacked on top of each other. IP block, ownership restriction, document wall. Anthropic's official reason is abuse prevention, and they attached a specific accusation to that position. Earlier this year, they publicly named DeepSeek, Moonshot AI, and Minimax, 3 Chinese AI companies, and accused them of running millions of fraudulent accounts to systematically extract data from Claude at scale. The technical term for what they allegedly did is distillation. You make the more powerful model talk to you a lot. You save everything it says, you feed all of that to your own cheaper model, and that cheaper model learns to sound like the expensive one. You did not build the brain, you just made it talk until you understood how it thinks. Anthropic says that is exactly what happened, that Chinese AI companies were effectively using Claude as a free training resource for their own competing models. The door is now shut. This is what the AI arms race looks like in 2010. It is not about who scores highest on a benchmark anymore. It is about who you let use your model, who you lock out, and what data stays on your side of the line. Let me close with this. This week, Claude Opus is about to drop. There will be a release date, benchmarks, and a press release. The usual cycle of excitement and speculation. But inside that same building, there is a model with no release date, no press release, no public access, ever. Because the person who built it looked at the results and said, "This does not go out." A company that calls safety its core mission just posted $30 billion in annualized revenue, turned down $800 billion, and locked its most powerful model in a vault that only Amazon and Apple have a key to. Tell me in the comments, is Anthropic the most responsible AI lab on the planet for refusing to release something that could be weaponized? Or is the vault just one boardroom decision away from opening? Because eventually someone will build what Mythos can build. Someone always does. The question is, who controls it when that happens? And right now, Anthropic is betting the answer is them.